It is 1:31. We can roll the tape. Good afternoon. I'll call to order this meeting of the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners. It is Thursday, February 12th, 2026, and 1:32 p.m. I'm Irene Fernando, Chair of the Board and District 2 Commissioner. I'm joined by District 3 Commissioner Marion Green, District 4 Commissioner Angela Conley, Vice Chair and District 5 Commissioner Debbie Gotel, District 6 Commissioner Heather Edelson, Hennepin County acknowledges that the magnificent land and vibrant waterways from which our institutions benefit are located upon the cultural, spiritual, and indigenous homeland of the Dakota Oyate. Hennepin County calls attention to the Dakota people's ongoing connection to this special place. Onto the agenda, the first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is to approve the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Conley and Green. All those in favor of the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3 is Hennepin Highlights, and we have an Environmental Response Fund Grant's 25th anniversary highlight presented by Rosemary Lavin of Environment and Energy. So please come on up.
Chair Fernando, Commissioners, thank you. I'm Rosemary Lavin, Director of Environment and Energy Department. I'm honored to be here today to present the success and legacy of 25 years of Hennepin County's Environmental Response Fund, the county's brownfield redevelopment program that supports the cleanup and assessment of polluted properties. With me here today are county staff who serve in our Contaminated Lands Unit: Mary Finch, Lance Robinette, Michael Torres, Michael Zazera. We're also joined by John Evans, who contributed 25 years to building the program and retired last year. Many thanks to each of them for their commitment to protecting health and eliminating disparities in their work. This work started in the mid-1990s when Hennepin County was increasingly dealing with contaminated properties, which came with liability, health hazards, and environmental costs. A pivotal site for the ERF program, the National Lead Superfund site in St. Louis Park, was prioritized by the state for cleanup in 1997. To fund that cleanup, a state law was passed allowing Hennepin County to collect a small tax on every mortgage registered and deed recorded in the county. Once the National Lead Site cleanup was addressed, Hennepin County established the Environmental Response Fund in 2001 to help clean up additional contaminated sites throughout the county. We'll play a video now to highlight a few ERF-funded projects from around Hennepin County where communities were improved by environmental cleanup.
For the past 25 years, Hennepin County's Environmental Response Fund has helped fund the costly cleanup of hundreds of polluted, vacant, and underused community sites, transforming them into community assets. Juxtaposition Arts in North Minneapolis is a great example. The site had historically been polluted from neighboring dry cleaners and gas stations. With help from the Environmental Response Fund, Juxtaposition Arts cleaned up and revitalized this highly visible section of the West Broadway Cultural District.
One of Juxtaposition Arts' primary goals is to train and employ young creatives into the creative economy through training in marketing, advertising, graphic design, public art, and engagement. The Environmental Response Fund enabled us to be able to clean up and re-envision our key transit corridor here on the corner of Broadway and Emerson. This area has more young people under 18 than any other place in the state, and with those young people, that's the next creative workforce.
As a major economic center for 150 years, Hennepin County has many contaminated sites that were polluted years ago, before environmental regulations. Chemical spills, industrial waste, dumps, asbestos, lead paint, any pollution left behind or buried must be cleaned up before a viable project can start. The Environmental Response Fund has been key in filling funding gaps for cleanup and reducing costs for housing projects, like Vista 44 in Hopkins.
I've been staying here at Vista 44 for about a year. I have 2 kids here with me. They're 7 and 3. If it wasn't for Vista, I wouldn't be here. I'll still be in the shelter.
But we're really grateful to land in this location, which is right close to downtown Hopkins and close to a lot of transit, community, and schools. It was a contaminated lot before. I'm really grateful for the funding to be able to clean that up. We were able to move forward with developing it into Vista 44, which is a really unique and special place. It's family supportive housing, which so little exists in the Twin Cities.
Wonderful. I'm glad Vista 44 is here.
The Environmental Response Fund supports projects located in all parts of Hennepin County, including helping to revitalize historic main streets in smaller towns like Rogers.
This is at the heart of our Main Street in our downtown area. The site's being transformed into a 40-unit senior affordable development that's at 30% area median income. Affordable multifamily developments are extremely hard to make work financially. The Environmental Response Fund is pivotal to make a contaminated site actually move forward, since any contamination cleanup is added cost to a development. It also provides a large private investment in the area, which is going to help spur additional private investment and really revitalize our downtown district.
The Environmental Response Fund prioritizes areas where costly cleanup has stalled redevelopment. Places like these are often in areas that have disparities in health, housing, and income.
I'm Teddy Crow. I work at the Red Lake Nation Embassy. The building's name is Mino Bima Diziwind. It means living the good life in Ojibwe. What used to be here before it was Ambles. It was a machinery shop, metal factory, and then it was like a hardware store. What the building provides is a lot of wraparound services, anything down from daycare all the way up to outpatient treatment, adult psychology. There's a rental office, Hayes Gibson. There's a Red Lake Housing. We're surrounded by the Native community, and we're pretty tight-knit.
Over the past 25 years, the Environmental Response Fund has invested more than $80 million in over 500 projects for costly, specialized assessment and cleanup that helps bring much-needed housing, services, and jobs to communities and put properties back on the tax rolls. With more than 6,000 sites still in need of cleanup in Hennepin County, the Environmental Response Fund will continue to play a critical role in revitalizing communities.
Thank you for the video. As we just saw, the ERF program is a catalyst for redevelopment in communities across Hennepin County. Each of the 500 projects supported through these funds has a story to tell, like the ones highlighted in this video. These projects spur economic growth and neighborhood revitalization. When comparing property values before and after assessment and cleanup, the completed ERF-aided projects have increased property values by more than $3.4 billion. Through partnerships across lines of business and with cities, these projects also support housing development, more than 23,000 new or retained housing units, and jobs, with 25,000 jobs created or retained with these projects. Later in the meeting, you'll be approving the latest round of Environmental Response Fund grants. These 9 grants, totaling nearly $2.3 million, will soon have their own stories to tell and will contribute to the significant legacy of revitalizing communities. And our work isn't done. There are more sites that still need to be cleaned up. We'll be working hard this Minnesota legislative session to extend the sunset date on the mortgage registry and deed tax so we can continue this important brownfield cleanup and redevelopment program. Thank you for the opportunity to share the history and highlight of a great Hennepin County program that aligns with Hennepin County's vision, mission, and values.
Thank you so much for the wonderful update and the video and the whole crew's back together, including, back from retirement, which we're privileged to have from time to time. Colleagues, want to open it up if there's comments? Commissioner Goodall.
I just want to say that I remember when the brownfields was legislation because I was actually down there supporting it. And people didn't realize this is a jobs bill because hooked with any of the cleanups are living wage jobs. And so people don't realize what the generator of jobs are, but except you highlight it here. And I think that's such a key piece of this and everything. Not only are we doing the good thing and the right thing for the environment, but we're really getting livable wage jobs out of this. So thank you for the hard work.
Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also just wanted to say congratulations. 25 years, it's amazing. And I want to thank everybody who's a part of the work now and has been a part of that work. Just really marvelous history. Speaking of the history that you shared, it's my honor to serve St. Louis Park, and you alluded to sort of the beginnings and that big project and the big federal project in St. Louis Park, which I know has a little bit of a different history than the ERF, but it and the projects, other projects you highlighted really demonstrate what a change to a community this investment can bring, and how changing something from environmental degradation and is it possibly even usable to land that is, as was shown, thriving, families, people, commerce. That's just, it's really, I would say, policy gold. Thank you.
Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I like policy gold because that's exactly right. So thank you. Congratulations to everyone who's been a part of this. This is not just, community building and resilience. This is environmental stewardship. And, when we have projects that come and they want to be a part of making our communities vibrant and all of the things, and they start digging in that ground and realizing centuries of pollutants, et cetera, and then find out that we've got resources for that, it really is a game changer. So this is a program that I'm very proud to say that Hennepin County offers. It's funding that I'm very proud to say goes a long way in supporting families and the communities that we serve and the land in which we're on. So thank you.
The thing that I'll add is, when I joined this board, this was a heavily debated set of awards. I'm sure you all can recall a time. And so I share that because the way in which residents, workers, and our policies have moved with respect to climate, with respect to livability, have really improved and are not guarantees. As we are enjoying immense progress here, I am quite wrought over globally and federally what is the ways in which effects of unregulated, essentially, into our soil and the winding back of. And so I just want to appreciate how this came to be. These are effects that are all the way into the soil. And depending upon what you are going to build there next, indicates how deep of cleanup needs to occur. I will not try to quote what I thought I learned from Mr. Evans many years ago, but I think it's like, isn't it like 8 feet deep if it's housing, and then it's like 1.5 or 3 feet if it's like another use. I mean, that's just a lot of cubic area. So we are not always a regulatory body. We're actually very rarely a regulatory body, but I just want to connect the effects of, land use and regulation and how this county and you all as a team for 25 years have found a way to contribute and to kind of reverse those climate effects. And then on top of that, jobs, housing, valuation going up, that's more tax base for property taxes. That means it's almost more tax base distributed. Our schools are more funded. Our public spaces are more funded. So the Environmental Response Fund is such a specific intervention that decades ago leaders brought forward, and this board saw its wisdom, and I'm very grateful that we get to continue that legacy. Without further comments, okay. We'll give you applause. Okay, it looks like commissioners are wishing for a photo. Let me rephrase that. Great, we are on to item 4 of the published agenda, which is the minutes from the previous meeting. 4A is for the January 27, 2026 minutes. May I have a motion, please?
So move, Gotel.
Thank you, Commissioners Gotel and Edelson. Any notes or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5 is referral of correspondence and department communications. 5A through C are correspondence, and 5D to 5X are department communications. May I have a motion to accept and refer as recommended?
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Commissioners Green and Conley. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 6 is commendations, for which we have none. 7 is Commissioner communications, and we have one, which is Shop Local Month offered by Commissioner Gotel. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today, we are proclaiming February Shop Local Month in Hennepin County in partnership with Governor Walz and the state of Minnesota. We're encouraging all residents to support small locally owned businesses, particularly those who have reduced foot traffic and heightened fear and uncertainty due to the ongoing federal immigration enforcement presence in our county. We're collaborating with community-based organizations, our local government partners, and others to promote community-based support for small businesses and to connect owners with available resources. Shopping or dining in one of our immigrant-owned businesses is one way we can stand with our neighbors and show support for our businesses that contribute so much to our community. And I'm kind of glad we have this wonderful video, and I saw the other video played, so I'm pretty sure this one will work. So this is a video message from Erin Farrell, co-founder of The Coven and an Elevate Hennepin advisor. Staff, please
I'm
pay.
Erin Farrell. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of the Coven co-working spaces. I think what we're seeing from an impact perspective, is the entirety of the small business community, very primarily here on East Street, is impacted significantly across, lower foot traffic, folks not feeling safe to come to work, the operational expenses that come along with that. It's created a really significant humanitarian, emotional, fiscal crisis in our small business years along the corridor. It takes about 7 to 9 questions with a particular small business owner until you get them to actually share an ask that they have. What they do for the first 7 to 9 questions is they're just in an offer mode. They just want to provide. No one here along this corridor has been asking for a handout. They just want customers. They want to be part of community. They want folks to remember that we are here and that we are an integral part of the cultural fabric that is the Twin Cities and that is Minneapolis specifically.
I think that's wonderful. Our small business community is demonstrating incredible courage and generosity in the face of this crisis. Many small businesses are standing up mutual aid and serving our communities at a time when their own livelihoods are threatened and often at great risk to themselves and their businesses. They are standing up to take care of others. Some examples include Rectangle Pizza on Lake Street has given away pizza to vulnerable neighbors and organized fundraising drives. We see businesses like Modern Times pivoting to only providing mutual aid and offering free and donated-based foods to the community members. And on Eat Street alone, we see businesses raising funds, setting up mutual aid for their community and providing food, shelter, product, and spaces for those to visit Alex Preddy's memorial. Business owners in Hennepin County can find up-to-date information and resources through Elevate Hennepin's Federal Response Resources Guide, Small Business Relief Fund Guide, and can meet one-on-one with one of the staff business navigators to quickly get connected to support. And all this information can be found on elevatehennepin.org. I know in my own community, our local grocery store, La Bonita, that just opened, Loma Bonita, they said if it wasn't for other traffic from the rest of the community that their supermarket would have closed weeks ago. And they are still going. And I know I'm a regular lunch person over there just to help support that business. I'm sure we all are doing the same in our communities. So thank you for allowing me that communication.
Thank you. And Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Commissioner Cattell, thank you so much for highlighting this and bringing this forward. I wanted to underscore some of the things that you said. First of all, I wanted to actually underscore something that Ms. Farrell said about how it's this like 7th or 8th question when a business owner asks for the help that they need. I was at a gathering that was hosted on Eat Street by the Whittier Alliance and Lake Street Council, and I was humbled that so much of the conversation was how businesses could collaborate even better than they already were to serve others in the community, even though the objective of the meeting was to talk about their needs. And I did want to highlight the work not only of Elevate Hennepin and thank the Elevate Hennepin team for being so present in the community. Really appreciate it. And then also their partnership with Whittier Alliance and the Lake Street Council. I'll mention that the Lake Street Council is doing a You Belong Here cash mob on Wednesdays where you can sign up for an email, and then on Wednesday we all rendezvous and enjoy a small business on Lake Street. And I'm looking to Commissioner Conley because she's the other side of Lake Street. And so wanted to encourage folks to sign up for that, and then underscore your last remarks about elevatehennepin.org, and that's a place to go find additional information, and that I can tell you, because I've heard the team say it, like, don't weed yourself out from that help. Talk to them about your needs, and they will help connect you with what you need, whether or not it's something of their portfolio or elsewhere in the county or community. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners Cottell and Green. Next on the agenda are our claims registers. 8A is the claims register for the period ending January 30, 2026, and 8B for the period ending February 6. May I have a motion for both?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioners Conley and Edelson. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9 are our consent items. 9A to 9M, these would have passed unanimously out of committee. May I have a motion for the block?
So moved. Cottell.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners Cottell and Edelson. So colleagues, I will speak to 9M before bringing the consent items to a full vote. Are there any that colleagues would like to highlight prior to that? Commissioner Green?
Thank you. Just a quick highlight of 9J, which is negotiating various 2020-25 fall ERF grant agreements for 1 or 2 year periods combined for a total not to exceed of $2.3 million. And just wanted to highlight that because it's the 25th anniversary of that sort of ongoing investment.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any others before I'll speak to 9M? So 9M is reaffirming the county's plan to reinvent the solid waste system. And want to highlight this action unanimously passing out of committee and presuming it'll unanimously pass again today, just to emphasize how important Hennepin County's position is to zero waste. These are not easy subjects. Solid waste, zero waste, environment, climate, these are very complicated. We spoke about the regulation a little bit earlier. And this board and this organization are deeply committed to zero waste and understand that generations to come are counting on us to lead well in this space and to lead well regarding climate action. The resolution makes clear that the progress Hennepin County has made in these areas. However, there's more work that needs to be done. We are still collectively discarding more than 700,000 tons of trash each year, enough to fill Target Field from the top to the bottom of the sand 6 times. This resolution, while reaffirming Hennepin's resolve, is also clear that Hennepin County cannot achieve zero waste alone. The county seeks shared responsibility and mutual accountability to make zero waste a reality and everyone's collective responsibility. Hennepin County needs the Minnesota legislature to lead policy efforts that advance the transition to zero waste, including financing to match desired outcomes, changing state statutes to support the shift away from disposable and toward a circular economy, expanding accountability for zero waste outcomes to include even further expanded producer responsibility, redeveloping infrastructure to meet state waste reduction and recycling goals, and supporting markets to adapt to changing demands. Hennepin County also is eager to partner with cities to drive and implement these policies and objectives. Without significant investments and policy direction from cities alongside county and state, particularly, of course, in the city of Minneapolis, the reduction of burning on our desired timeline will be very difficult. Hennepin County has made clear to the MPCA, the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, that we are also interested in their leadership as that was the most robust presentation that I have had. Certainly thank Mr. Kudelka for coming by last week, because this really is a team effort on behalf of all of our communities and future generations, and wanted to highlight 9M. Yes.
I just want to add and say how much I support you again in these efforts to, especially as we're going into the legislative session. I think, there will be those who will look at that packaging bill and want to try to tear it apart a bit, and we have to defend that because we have one of the most aggressive packaging bills in the nation, and we need to set that kind of an example. Second of all, we're going to be looking at electronic waste from the Partnership on Waste and Energy, which we sit on as a board. And this is the time that we have to get those things across. These are $0. This is about people taking responsibility for their waste. And so I think these are very doable things. These are probably could be bipartisan if people looked at this in the right way. And I think it has some legs to get some more. We won't get to zero waste without the legislature, and they really need to decide to start passing some of these bills we're bringing forward.
Thank you. Further discussion on the consent agenda or 9M? With a motion and second for 9A to 9M, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 10 is non-consent items. These would have been passed out of committee, but not unanimously. We have one item. 10A is an agreement with Senior Community Services for the provision of digital readiness training. The period is February 1, 2026 to January 31, 2027, with a not to exceed of $30,000. I'll move it. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Green. Colleagues, are there any questions on this one? Yes, Commissioner Edelson.
Thank you. I support this work. I know that Commissioner Anderson had brought up this would be new spending. And I do think, just for County Administrator Wentland, we had talked about this. With the cuts that we're seeing in public health, we're going to have to start making decisions. That's going to be all these little teeny tiny things. And then if it goes here, then it's going to come from here. And I just want to make sure that, to my colleagues, I would rather see this $30,000 go to STD funding. And I unfortunately, we're going to be in a place like that soon. And so I just want us to be cautious about where we're putting money. Any new money, I would love us to flag so that we can really start to make sure that we're going to help people. Because if this funding is getting cut, as much as we can say we want the legislature to pass things, they have a divided House.
Yeah.
The electronics bill, I wanted that to pass years ago when I was there. And do you want to know what's not going to pass this year because of the Republicans don't support it. So I just want to be very clear. We need to start making some tough decisions. So $30,000, it might not seem like a lot here, but I really honestly would even love us maybe to consider sending it back to staff. I know we did an RFP. I just am really worried. I'm worried about the care that people are going to receive. And colleagues, do you have any concerns about this, or you want to just go? I'll go either way.
Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I appreciate what you're saying, Commissioner Edelson. For me, I'm reading the background and what this is for. This is for seniors services. And our seniors are vulnerable people, and they are being taken advantage of. They are the subject of phishing scams, et cetera. What this funding will allow us to do is to provide digital skills training, helping vulnerable seniors stay safe, and one-on-one small group formats for youth, for senior groups. That's important to me as someone who has a 75-year-old mom who doesn't text. She just calls because she doesn't know how to text. But there's active threats against vulnerable people, and I think that's part of like our mission as a county is to protect them from that. Yes, we need to be thinking about how we're spending money, very much so, and I think we are. But I do think that programs like this that align with disparity elimination for all vulnerable populations are important dollars to spend. I can't imagine that the federal government would spend money on something like this. So then, again, it's up to us. I often use the phrase that counties are your first line of defense. And so for me, protecting our seniors in this manner is important to me. Thank you.
Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Edelson, for raising this super important question that I think is on all of our minds. And I appreciated what Commissioner Anderson said last week on this particular item, as well as the great remarks shared by Commissioner Conley about why this is great work. I also feel like the horse has left the barn a little bit. Like we did the RFP, this is budgeted in 2026. I think that if we want to relook at the 2026 budget, that's something we could do, but maybe not on a contract by contract basis, but earlier on. But I appreciate everything that you're saying because you're exactly right. Like we're going to have such difficult decisions ahead of us, and I hope and I think that county administration is going to set up the conversation where we're not sort of thinking of those gigantic issues with each and every $30,000 contract, but rather looking at it more from a bird's eye view and setting our priorities that way. So thank you for naming the difficult work ahead.
And Madam Chair, we can just go ahead and vote. Actually, I mean, we can go. We can go. Let's just vote. I'm good.
Okay.
All right. With 10A before us, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of 10A, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 11 are our progressed items. These are items that would have progressed from committee to board without a vote, and we do have one. 11A is a JPA between Hennepin County and the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension for the Minnesota Human Trafficking Investigators Task Force. The period is February 1, 2026 to January 31, 2031. I'll move this to get this before us. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Edelson. I just want to acknowledge that I see the sheriff's office here. In transparency, I wasn't able to get the follow-up, so I was intending to lay this over to either to bring it back to committee or to go back to the next board meeting, but I'm aware that presenters are here, so would be happy to have you take the mic if you wish.
Thank you, Commissioner. Would you like it reintroduced, or I guess
It's kind of, so
Questions or-
the follow-up was not, I didn't get all the follow-up, or we did not get all of the follow-up. So I'm kind of saying to my colleagues, since we're at a board, it could either go back to committee or it could go to the next board, is what I'm communicating to my colleagues is my wish. I do think that in any time, but especially now, there's a level of detail and robustness that I want to be able to review for every agreement. So I know it's kind of awkward, but I wanted to be transparent about the motion that I will eventually be doing here.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. I just, to the question so I wonder with this, because this is a human trafficking investigation task force.
That is correct.
I wonder if this is tabled or if there's a delay, will there be victims that are not receiving services? That's my question.
There's potentially a detail we're hoping to work in the future that we would not have access to the equipment and personnel to run if it's delayed. Yes, that is correct.
My interest, Commissioner Edelson, I haven't had a chance to review it. I'm concerned about the surveillance data, as I've mentioned previously. I know I've asked that of council. I've been deeply troubled by the surveillance technology that's been used, and I am wanting to make sure that these JPAs are not grounds for residential data being shared with other bodies. So that was one thing that I communicated. And then there was a specific case that occurred about 8 months ago. And if it is connected to this JPA, that had such an effect in the community that I would want clarity on that.
I can tell you that case is not connected to this JPA.
Okay.
It's even more intriguing than if there's yeah,
Madam
and I'll
Chair,
just
I
go
would
ahead.
like to hear more about the surveillance too. I would like to hear about that kind of, I'm concerned about that too. Not when I read about all these surveillance techniques and stuff, especially being used by the federal forces, the ICE forces that are in here right now. It's pretty scary stuff.
Yeah, so I totally hear Commissioner Edelson's point. I really do. But I just want to express why I wanted a chance to review myself. And I know that you might share with me, well, June 3rd had nothing to do with it, and the drone that followed me home is not connected. I still, I believe residents are requesting for due diligence, and I want to be able to engage in that individual due diligence. But if the will of the board is different, then that's up to the board, of course. Commissioner Conley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So can either of you speak to the timeline on the information that was requested and how soon we might get that back?
Yes, Madam Chair, Commissioner, we did send some information back today that included the JPA for the Human Trafficking Task Force, the one that's before you today. We had, I think, 9 federal JPAs that were sent over and what those were, and then there's been an additional ask for all agreements with the federal government or state government. We are compiling that now with county administration to ensure we have all that put together. And then we did have additional information related to the incident last summer that you're referring to that did not have anything to do with any joint powers agreements at all. That was a referral that came to our office through the Minnesota Attorney General's office. They stated we have a potential crime victim in our community related to wage theft and labor trafficking. That referral went to our detective who does our financial crimes within our special assignments unit. They took it, initially ran with that. As they were investigating, they learned that the federal government was also looking, several units within the federal government, Homeland Security Investigations, IRS, I believe the FBI, were also looking into this same transnational criminal organization. This was a large organization, so this wasn't as per any joint powers agreement. That was a referral to us. We investigated, learned the federal government was also investigating it, and that led to ultimately several search warrants last summer.
So just as a follow-up, the timeline, right? So for the rest of the JPAs that we're waiting on that you're working with county administration to get to the board, is there a timeline that you can can we get it in a week? What does that look like to you?
Yep, Madam Chair, Commissioner, yes, within a week for sure. We're hoping by tomorrow. I don't want to overpromise on that, but by early next week we'll have it.
And then there's more, and I'll just, for the public, I know that you sent it up, but it was today. I mean, so when I had requested it last week, it was so that I could read it with some deliberation and have a thoughtful, ability to discuss it. So I just want to clarify that that the language was not sent until today. And so Irene, am facing the same dynamic as last week, which I didn't have the information. So I want to clarify that. I have Commissioner Edelson and then Gotel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I absolutely agree with you on surveillance. I'm concerned about it too. But I think it's important for us to hold something separately here. I'm a strong believer in making sure that we protect victims of human trafficking. And so I don't want to delay important efforts, and I don't think Hennepin County, the public, would want that either. I agree with you on surveillance, and I wonder if we can come to an agreement about getting the documents, if they're going to be here, to what Commissioner Conley had said, that we don't have to hold up this JPA, which I believe this task force also serves minors. You work to protect minors too, correct? Of human trafficking? I don't think we should do this. I don't think we should hold this. I would ask my colleagues to reconsider. I just don't want to create harm by the fact that we actually need to get information, which I would agree with you on. We need to get it. And the surveillance has been troubling. And I don't know if it's the surveillance by you, but I also think there's surveillance with ICE that has been really, really, really terrible. So I guess I would maybe hope that we could reconsider the GPA today and approving it.
Commissioner Goodell.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak to the fact that we need timely responses too, because these are serious issues that we're facing in our community. Is coming to us to ask for these questions and everything. And so it would help if you could respond in a more timely manner. I definitely still want to know about the surveillance, and perhaps you could educate us, not just on that, but what ICE is doing, what other federal operations are doing, and what the sheriff is doing, so we can see distinctively what different parts of our public safety are doing. Because I think some of it is very alarming. You probably find some of it alarming.
Madam Chair, Commissioner, yes, thank you. And I apologize for the disconnect on the joint powers agreement making it to you. It was conveyed to us that it was provided last week by county administration to, I don't know if it went to the entire board. So that's why it was not included in our initial communication. It was told that you'd already received it. But yes, we do share some of those concerns too, and work towards.
A memo on this would be really good to clarify all the surveillance.
No need to assign stuff to others when it should have come to the county board. I will state it like that we are all under the Hennepin name, and it's favorable to demonstrate professional connection in that manner. This was not sent up, not yesterday, and it's I mean, I said last week, I'm happy to approve it as I have in the past, but just for the public, this was brought to us for approval on February 5th, would have been ratified today, perhaps passed today, and the start date was the 1st of this month. So there are if there's an operational delay, that is not all this board. And I'm not going to do a lot of blaming up here. So thank you for that. Colleagues, I'm fine voting on this since we've had this.
I'd like to call.
Okay, sounds good. Colleagues, are we ready to vote? Are we ready to vote? Do we want to do roll call, or are we ready to?
Whatever.
Okay, I think we might need to do a roll call vote. And so this is to pass it. So that's the vote. So if this does not pass, then it is not approved. So that's what I just want to, I'm just looking to you, Commissioner Edelson, because you expressed calling a vote, so wanting to clarify.
Madam Chair, yes, because I think we found out that their human trafficking victims could be impacted by this. I think that we all can agree that we can get this information in a few days from now, and we have the Chief of Staff saying that he can get that. I think we have, yes, I would like to call a vote.
Sounds good. We'll do a roll call vote. Maria Rose.
Commissioner Green? Nay. Commissioner Conley?
No?
Commissioner Gotel?
Aye.
Commissioner Edelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fernando?
Nay, and I don't think that either got 4, right?
3 nays. 2.
Yeah, it was 3-2. So that's what I'm saying. There's it did not pass. It also technically didn't, I don't know if it failed, but it certainly didn't pass. So it is not approved at this present moment, but I think it can just come back through the committee cycle. It not being approved is it not being the same as not approved, but it did not pass as written, and so would need to re-enter during the committee cycle or in an immediate approval, but clearly would recommend follow-up on the surveillance piece, specifically, where that data goes, et cetera. If there are specific cases that we should be considering, and we do not meet next week, but I see that council and admin is conferring. I'll unmute for a moment if you'd like to speak to something.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, so the motion to pass the item not having prevailed, the body could consider a motion to lay it over to the next board meeting, or you could, the motion having failed, you also could just move to the next item in the agenda, and then this would have to come back as a new item in a new board cycle.
Madam Chair, I move that we lay it over to the next board meeting.
Second?
There's a motion to lay over item 11A from Commissioner Green to lay over to the next board meeting, a second by Commissioner Conley. And then Commissioner Conley, you'd like to speak? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I want to approve this. I want this to come back with all of the information that you say that you can get us in a week. I think that it's important for us to have all the background, and especially now, under the current times that we're in, it's important for us to have really good information so that we can make votes well-informed. And so I want to see this pass. I want to see our victims and survivors taken care of. So the work that you do is really important in this area. I can't tell you how much I support it, but I would like to be able to vote on this when it comes back with the information that was requested. So thank you.
There's a motion and a second for progress. Further discussion on item 11A? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that the progress motion prevails 4 in favor and 1 opposed. Next item is old business. 12A are the 2026 Watershed Board applicants and appointments for the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District Board. This is an item where we are, for those following at home, this is a part of our kind of community advisory board process. And this particular item will have voting via a single district name or commissioner named per time. So, and Ms. Rose will guide us in that. We have 4 applicants for 2 at-large spots, and hopeful that we will be able to appoint both of the at-large positions. I'll note that Richard Miller and Jessica Loftus would each need a supermajority to be reappointed. We also received a memo on this item from council, Mr. Schweigert. Would you like to add anything before Ms. Rose guides us in voting?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, nothing further.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay.
In the
No, I just wanted to make sure the memo, and you guys all got it, so.
Great, thank you,
And
Commissioner
I'm just-
Goodell.
Thank you. I wanted to acknowledge that I believe, unfortunately, Jessica Loftus has moved out of the watershed district, and so.
Well, she was redistricted out of the watershed district.
Okay.
That was in the memo. That was sent out.
Sorry, I thought he was referring to a different memo.
No.
And so her name was mentioned on the dais, and so I wanted to acknowledge also on the dais that we unfortunately cannot appoint her.
Thank you for the clarity. My apologies for naming that. Thanks. Okay, so I believe that we have all the information, and Ms. Rose will guide us in voting.
Commissioner Green.
Dick Miller.
Commissioner Conley.
Richard Miller?
Commissioner Gotel.
Richard Miller.
Commissioner Edelson.
Ricardo Bonner.
Commissioner Fernando.
Ricardo Bonner. So we did not have the appropriate amount of votes prevailing for any of the named appointees. So let's try it again.
Commissioner Conley.
Ricardo Bonner.
Commissioner Green.
Ricardo Bonner.
Commissioner Gotel.
Ricardo Bonner.
Commissioner Edelson. Commissioner Fernando.
Ricardo Bonner. And Ricardo has attained a prevailing number of votes. Congratulations on Ricardo's appointment. We have one more at-large vacancy, and let's see if we can appoint that today as well.
Commissioner Gotel.
Janet Schaefer.
Commissioner Edelson.
Janet Schaefer.
Commissioner Green.
Pass.
Commissioner Angela Conley.
Janet Schaefer?
Commissioner Fernando.
Janet Schaefer.
Four for Janet.
I think, I'm sorry, I
Oh, you want me
tried
to
to
come
say
back?
the thing where my name would then appear at the end.
Commissioner Green.
Janet Schaefer. Thank you.
Congratulations to Janet Schaefer on being appointed to the Watershed District Board for Minnehaha Creek. And thank you to all of the applicants and for all of the continued service from residents. We are now at 13 on the agenda, which is immediate approvals, and we have several. 13A is an agreement with the Minnesota DHS for emergency rental assistance. The period is January 1, 2026 to December 31, 2026. There's a $2.55 million receivable. I'll move this. May I have a second, please?
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Conley. Ms. Wetland.
Chair Fernando, Commissioners, item 13A is a receivable from the Minnesota Department of Human Services for emergency rental assistance funds. The funding will allow the county to preserve housing stability for approximately 690 households facing eviction in 2026. David Hewitt, Assistant County Administrator of Human Services, can provide more information if you would like.
Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I have a question on, I don't know that this is new money because we get rental assistance from the state annually, but I'm wondering if this is a decrease of what we've seen in previous years, or is it on par with what we've seen in other years? Thank you.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Chair Fernando, Commissioner Conley, answering with my housing hat once more today. Thank you for the question. That was actually my first talking point on this board action, if asked, was to clarify that this does not represent an increase or a decrease or a change in the proportion of emergency general assistance that we receive into our community. What this represents is really the culmination of many years of work to streamline the operations of emergency rental assistance for our residents, whereby historically we had multiple funding streams, each with their own processes, priorities, eligibility criteria. And we've been working to consolidate those into one process, one set of priorities, in order to take the burden of navigating those complex funding streams off of our residents and place it where it belongs, on us. So historically, at least in the last year, we received approximately $3.2 million in emergency general assistance, or our residents received it, I should say, for all classes of emergency through the Department of Human Services. Of that, we estimate 1.7 million was emergency rental assistance. This number, this is where it gets a little bit wonky, is an 18-month amount based on that 1.7 million a year allocation, hence 2.55 million. But how it breaks down is we anticipate the same amount of emergency general assistance, we will use the same proportion of it for rental assistance, but we will do so more efficiently, effectively, and equitably through a single source that pools it with our local affordable housing aid, our family homeless prevention and assistance program money, and has us really kind of working behind the scenes to work out which funds can help which residents so they don't have to navigate that themselves.
So as just a follow-up, it sounds like it'll be easier for residents now to access these funds when they're facing eviction.
Chair Fernando, Commissioner Conley, that is the plan. Easier, more efficient. We process claims through our emergency rental assistance in under 14 days. We can go quicker when necessary to prevent the loss of housing. and clearer. It really allows us to align all of the funds behind very clear priorities, which are to prevent loss of housing through eviction for low-income households with children, seniors, and people with disabilities in the household.
Good work. Thank you.
Further questions or comments on this item? Nice to see you officially in a seat in your new role. So 13A before us, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 13B is to establish an unclassified position of Chief Healthcare Innovation and Strategy Officer. Approve the appointment of Dr. Charles Chima to the unclassified position of Chief Healthcare Innovation and Strategy Officer, effective March 9, 2026. I'll move this. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Green. Ms. Welland.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, earlier this morning, you had the opportunity for a briefing on our public health system. And this afternoon, I get the honor to offer an item for your consideration. This board action requests the establishment of the unclassified position of Chief Healthcare Innovation and Strategy Officer, as well as the appointment of Dr. Charles Chima to that position. This position will lead strategies to improve health outcomes for Hennepin County residents, with a priority placed on those experiencing the most health disparities. Dr. Chima is an experienced leader in the area of public health, health equity, and healthcare innovation. Most recently, he was the Chief Healthcare Innovation and Strategy Officer for the Washington State Department of Health, where he led statewide strategy for aligning healthcare, public health, and social service systems to improve equitable access, strengthen health workforce, and build a system of care. The position will report to Assistant County Administrator of Health, Sarah Hawley, and will work across systems in supporting our disparity elimination work. Thank you.
Thank you. The background is incredible, and of course, what you just pulled out. Hopefully, Dr. Chima knows that that's what we're, hoping for here. So, the colleagues, any comments before we bring this to vote and bring Dr. Chima up? All those in favor of this appointment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and congratulations to Dr. Chima. So now's the time for your big speech.
Chair Fernando, Vice Chair Goto, Commissioners, I'd like to start by saying thank you for the appointments, and also a special thank you to Administrator Wetland, Deputy Administrator Murphy, and ACA Hawley for the confidence and the support to take on this important role at this critical time for our community. As we all know, we are in very trying times, right? Both things that are unique to us here in Hennepin County and Minneapolis-St. Paul area, but also challenges with healthcare access and affordability that are happening across the country, with all things going on with the change in policy and fiscal environment, particularly at the federal level. And I like really the point that Commissioner Anderson, I think is not here this afternoon, made earlier in the day during the briefing about how our moral responsibility remains, right, the same. But we have to do that even with fewer resources. So sort of building on the conversations earlier this morning, as part of that strategy is how do we meet this moment where we are being called upon to do more with even less? And part of that requires, as we already recognize, working externally in terms of strengthening our partnerships with city and state and other actors at the community level. But even more importantly is looking within how we can align our own internal health assets. We either directly oversee or operate or influence quite a few healthcare resources and facilities and services in the county. So how can we see that we are working as one Hennepin and breaking those, what one of my mentors called silos of excellence, right? Is how do we see that we are working as a system and not just doing the best work in our individual areas, but working as a system to better serve our residents. And so that really requires us that gives us the opportunity to be more efficient, to figure out ways that we can not just meet the services that are needed, but reimagine how we deliver care and how we deliver that care in a way that allows us to address the challenges facing our local, safety net hospital, but also that allows us to meet even the looming impacts of HR1 and the things we see coming down the pike facing our residents. So there's a lot of work to be done, but this is a great community. From the very moment I had the opportunity to engage with the team, I really look forward to being part of the team, and I know continue to build on the relationship that has already started, and how we can use. There was a lot of talk earlier today about data, right? And I think that's one of the areas that I really enjoy, and I think that I have a strength in that I hope to be able to key into the strong analytics team here at the county, but also at the hospital, Hennepin Health System, how we can bring together the systems together to work as one, so that we are using data not just to shape our strategy and inform the work, but also to evaluate. Again, one of the points I made earlier is about effectiveness. How can we know when we are being effective in addressing these challenges and measure the impact of our work, and know when we are being successful in closing the gaps in achieving our disparity elimination goals. So I'll end by saying thank you again for the appointment, and I'm really excited and ready to get on the team and for the important work that lies ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. We are on to 13C, which is to establish the unclassified position of Chief Children and Family Services Officer and approve the appointment of Kwesi Booker effective February 22nd, 2026. I will move this. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Gotel. Ms. Wetland.
Chair Fernando, Commissioners, this board action requests the establishment of the unclassified position of Chief Children and Family Services Officer, as well as the appointment of Kwesi Booker to that position. As the Hennepin County Children and Family Services Director, Mr. Booker, as the Hennepin County Children and Family Services Director, has been in this role since January of 2022. He has led programs and services designed to prevent maltreatment of youth and children, strengthen families, and find safety and stability when abuse occurs. He's taken on increased duties and responsibilities to fulfill the needs of the department and the community. This position reflects the broadened scope around child well-being and the Minnesota African American Family Preservation and Child Welfare Disproportionality Act. This change also brings the county in line with the national industry standards around child welfare leadership. Kwesi is unable to join us today, but I hope that I have your support in this appointment. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, are we ready to vote? All those in favor of 13C, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and congratulations to Mr. Booker. 13D is acknowledging Heart Health Month in Hennepin County, offered by Commissioner Conley. Would you like to move it?
I will.
I will
I'll
second
move
it. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So February is Heart Health Month, and this is an important time to raise awareness. Always, every day is an important time to raise awareness of heart disease and to promote strategies to improve cardiovascular health. So I will ask Ms. Rose to read the proclamation, and then I'll have some comments after her.
Whereas heart disease is the leading cause of death for all genders and people of most racial and ethnic groups in the United States. And whereas heart disease cost the United States about $414 billion annually from 2021 to 2022, including the cost of healthcare services, medicine, and lost productivity due to death, according to the American Heart Association. And whereas heart disease is the #1 killer of women, causing 1 in 3 deaths each year. It's a third of our mothers, sisters, friends, neighbors, coworkers, and more. It's a third of the women we can't bear to live without. And whereas heart disease is the #1 killer of new moms and accounts for over 1/3 of maternal deaths, Black women have some of the highest maternal mortality rates. And whereas heart disease is the second leading cause of death to Hennepin County residents, with more than 12,000 deaths occurring between 2013 and 2021. And whereas significant health disparities persist with U.S.-born Black and American Indian Indigenous residents in Hennepin County, people with disabilities experiencing significantly higher rates of hypertension compared to the county averages. And whereas Hennepin County Public Health works with partners throughout the county on community-driven policy and system-level approaches to prevent heart disease through active living, healthy eating, and commercial tobacco-free living. And whereas the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention encourages everyday prevention through physical activity, healthy eating, stress reduction, managing blood pressure, and working with a primary care provider to manage and prevent heart disease. And whereas this February, following an investment and campaign that Hennepin County started in 2025, the county, in partnership with community, is urging women to take care of their heart health through the Your Heart Beats for Generations campaign, meaning take care of your health for yourself, your family, and your community. Be it resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners proclaims February as Heart Health Month in Hennepin County in recognition of the importance of the ongoing fight against heart disease and for the need for policy systems and environments that support heart-healthy communities for all residents.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. So as we heard in the proclamation, heart disease just remains this leading cause of death in the entire country. And it's certainly a critical public health issue, especially under times when we are enduring extraordinarily high levels of stress. I read a report recently that talked about how one of the many reasons why Black and Indigenous women are at the forefront of the heart disease crisis in our country is because of living under discriminatory practices for so long. It becomes generational. It becomes something that runs in our blood. And so I think the work that we're doing through Hennepin County's Your Heart Beats for Generation campaign is working to reverse that. And it's one of the things we talked about this morning about what will we see a year from now, 3 years from now in terms of effectiveness. I think we're going to see some good results. So again, I'm grateful for another year of this campaign. Your Heart Beats for Generations is an investment. It is an initiative that we funded at $1 million annually ongoing at the end of 2024. Was funded again this year. It's a special shout. I want to send a special shout out to the team in public health that really led the launch of this and led it brilliantly, and the effort to continue to make it grow and to just reach out into our community to share awareness and prevention. I encourage everyone that's listening right now, especially women, especially Black women and Indigenous individuals, to take this opportunity to focus on your cardiovascular health and learn more about how to prevent and treat heart disease, not only for you, but for the generations after you to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any comments before we vote on this? Hearing none, all those in favor of 13D, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and February is proclaimed as Heart Health Month in Hennepin County. 13E is declaring February 2026 to be Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month in Hennepin County, offered by Commissioner Edelson. Would you like to move it?
Yes, I'd like to move it.
I'll second it. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and I'm bringing forward this proclamation to elevate youth voices, strengthen partnerships, and raise awareness about resources and support available to young people. I'll have Maria, the clerk, read the proclamation, and then I'll have some additional remarks after. Thanks, Maria.
Whereas teen dating violence is a serious public health and safety concern that affects young people across communities, cultures, and backgrounds. And whereas many adolescents experience emotional, physical, sexual, or digital abuse within dating relationships, and some youth are at an increased risk of exploitation, often without recognizing the behavior as harmful or knowing where to seek help. And whereas the impacts of teen dating violence can include trauma, mental health challenges, academic disruption, and increased vulnerability to exploitation and future violence. And whereas prevention and early intervention through education, awareness, and supportive services are critical to promoting healthy relationships and preventing violence and exploitation before harm escalates. And whereas community-led, trauma-informed, and survivor-centered approaches are essential to supporting youth and fostering safety, dignity, and healing. Be it resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims February as Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month in Hennepin County and encourages residents, schools, families, and community partners to promote healthy relationships, prevent dating violence and exploitation, and support youth impacted by harm.
Thank you, Maria. The most recent student survey shows that reports of sexual violence among 9th and 11th grade students increased 9.8% in 2016 to 13.5% in 2020. And among grades, 8th graders nearly doubled. This data reinforces the urgency of early, preventative, coordinated responses. Hennepin County addresses this issue through a comprehensive collective system that's coordinated, survivor-centered, in response that youth who have experienced sexual exploitation. I just want to acknowledge, I know Tia Joy Peterson, you're here, right? Tia, do you just want to stand up really quick? I think we should all acknowledge Tia with a round of applause for all the great work she does. Teen violence affects young people across our communities, and it often shows up in ways that aren't easily able to see. This month gives us an opportunity to talk openly about what healthy relationships look like, prevent future violence and exploitation like human trafficking and sexual exploitation, like we were talking about earlier today. With that, I'm ready to, that's it, thank you.
Thank you. Any comments on this proclamation before we bring it to vote? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and February is also proclaimed Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month in Hennepin County. 13F is declaring February 2026 as Shop Local Month in Hennepin County, offered by Commissioner Conley. Would you like to move it?
I will move it.
Second, and go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as mentioned earlier in the meeting today, we are offering this proclamation in partnership and support with Governor Walz in the state of Minnesota. So I'll have Ms. Rose read the commendation.
Whereas Hennepin County celebrates all our local businesses and recognizes the vital role that local small businesses play as job creators, innovators, and as a reflection of what makes our communities unique. And whereas the federal immigration enforcement surge is causing tremendous suffering, disruption, and fear across the county, including in our small business community. And whereas the county stands with our small and local businesses that anchor main streets, strengthen our economy, and enhance our cultural life across the county, including many that are owned by, employ, or serve members of immigrant communities. And whereas choosing where to shop, eat, and spend time is one of the most immediate and powerful ways individuals can support their neighbors, help keep local businesses open and thriving, and invest in the vitality of our communities. And whereas the county promotes shopping at local small businesses throughout the multi-jurisdictional Love Local campaign, encouraging residents to support independently owned businesses that make our communities vibrant and livable. Be it resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners recognizes the hard work and ingenuity of entrepreneurs who start and grow businesses in our community for the community, and we thank them for everything they do to keep our communities strong in face of this crisis. And be it further resolved that we do hereby proclaim February 2026 as Shop Local Month in Hennepin County, and we encourage all residents to celebrate and support our local small businesses, not only during this month, but throughout the year.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. Throughout the year, we are incredibly proud of our local business community, and I would say they are the economic driver. Our small businesses are the economic driver of our county, and as such are the economic driver of our state. We are grateful for everything that they do to support and uplift our community now and every single day. To any residents who are watching today, the call to action is we want you to support your local businesses as you are able. I will shout out Mercado Central on Lake in Bloomington. I will shout out the Midtown Global Market on Lake in Chicago. Now is the best time that you can be supporting your local small businesses and your local immigrant-owned small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments on this item before we vote? Seeing none, all those in favor of 13F, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and February is also Shop Local Month, and please shop local.
Yes.
13G is to reaffirm Commissioner Oath of Office, recognize the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, reaffirm existing Hennepin County policies, support existing HCSO, which is the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office policy, and recommend continued compliance with Minnesota statutes offered by myself. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Gotel. So first, I'd like to acknowledge that this item is coming in as an immediate approval, and while we have many immediate approvals, when an immediate approval comes from a commissioner, it likely means that this board or committee has not previously seen the language. So I just want to acknowledge that for the public. I will express that the timing of this bar is in large part a reflection of how much Operation Metro Surge remains active and corresponding resident concerns, media questions, requests for legal clarity, and so on. So this board action is lengthy, and there was a revision sent out. And so as it is now, there are 22 whereas clauses and 10 resolving clauses. The objectives of this board action are threefold. First, to continue to document the effects and experiences related to Operation Metro Surge. We are on day 74 of the operation, from December 1st to present. And while, some of the attention has shifted in the last month, I am hopeful for this item to prevail in order for us to, as a county, continue to document in these whereas clauses, which are factual and accurate, the experience that residents have been engaging with during this time period. The second objective is to communicate accurate information regarding lawful and compliant cooperation and clarify distinct authorities between the elected county board and the elected sheriff. I'm individually prompted prompted to write this because of numerous media and external requests around these very nuanced topics. And just in transparency, colleagues, I've not taken any individual interviews on these subjects because usually people are asking, what does the county board think? And I'm unable to speak on behalf of the county board unless we have had a discussion and more specifically, that we've taken action. So given the significant public attention and misconception of various items, I have found that it's very difficult to chase misconception. And so the action for this body to do is to pass what we understand to be factually verified. And then, of course, that's the whereas clauses. And then the resolving clauses are, the position or the action of this body should any of the clauses prevail. The last thing that this bar does is to reaffirm existing policies. We have been reaffirming throughout this time period. For example, we directed county administration to have a response. In here, there's a resolving clause that is recognizing Operation Reconnect, for example. And so reaffirming existing policies, there's a couple of resolving clauses about this building. It is no news to people in this room, but there were 2 public arrests during business hours, which took place here at the Government Center on the Skyway level. So onto the bar's content, colleagues, none of this has new policy. That's very important to express. My individual desire to author this is because most of the conversations I've been having with the media and with other jurisdictions and with residents are me kind of explaining what we already have in existence and attempting to not, overstep into another elected official's authority and certainly not to speak on behalf of this board. So I just want to be very, very clear. This is not new direction or new policy. This is the existing understanding as I know it regarding the board's operational desires as well as the county sheriff office, Hennepin County Sheriff Office's operational situation. So I say all of this because I just want to highlight a couple of them. The biggest question that I have been getting personally is, will the county board enter a BOA? Super specific. So I thank Commissioner Edelson for highlighting that the language I originally had did not cover a BOA. So it's for me personally, I don't want to do 10 interviews saying what we have or haven't done. I would prefer to pass something and to confirm for this day what is true, and then should there be, then we can all at least speak with consistency around what the Hennepin County Board's position is. I'm happy to go through them if people would like, but given just the prominence of these topics in the media and among communities, I will just pause for a second and open the floor. Commissioner Edelson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can we should we do the oral amendment now to the agreement? Do you want me to propose that now and then we can debate it, or?
Sorry, really, thank you for
in a
that.
complete form. I actually have a suggestion if you wait, like just in terms of order. So if we took, and I can pass this out.
Thank you.
As you're getting back to your spot, Commissioner Edelson, that's a great point. What was published was language that I published this morning. And then the R1 has not yet been moved, so that's fine. But there was an emailed R1 that is not yet moved that has a number of items that have been included in it, but wondering.
Well, should we move the R1 first and then we can make the edit to it?
Changes.
Yeah, I think we should move the R. So did you want to move
I'll
the
move
R1?
the R1,
I'll
sure.
second it.
Excellent.
Okay, so then with that, I would like to request an oral amendment on the whereas clause 16 to what I have before you, and then for council, if you want to have that in front of you, what I would suggest, and I'm open to your suggestions, feedback, Chair, is if we took the beginning of the sheriff, so it would be your 16, it would say, but my edit first, the sheriff has not asked the county board to approve section 287G agreement or a BOA. And the Hennepin County Board, it would all be in the same sentence, it would go to yours then. And the Hennepin County Board has not considered or approved a section, we would take out a section 287G agreement or a BOA agreement. And actually, we wouldn't need agreement in that because a BOA does mean agreement.
Well, what's wonderful is my email from 1:40 PM that is after the meeting convened, so I'll acknowledge that. The email from 1:40 PM, that R1 does include verbally, whereas the Hennepin County Sheriff has not, right, are we together here? Excuse me, at 1:44 PM. I sent an email to, at 1:44 PM that says, whereas Hennepin County Sheriff has not asked the county board to approve a section 287G agreement or BOA, and the county board has not approved a section 287G agreement or BOA.
Okay, so we're in this meeting. Okay, good, got it. Okay, yeah, then that's great. That
I
sounds
will
good.
acknowledge
Thank
that
you.
it was during the meeting. I'm
No.
not a great multitasker,
That's okay.
but
Well,
I wanted the document in one spot.
Okay, so this is the new, which we don't have a copy of us in front of it, but yes, I
Correct.
will, so we move in seconded that one just now?
Yes, the R1 that's before us, and I do apologize, is the email from 144, which is very similar to the previous R1, but that wasn't moved, so it kind of doesn't matter. The R1 before us, it should be in your email too, Mr. Schweigert.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, it is in my email. I do have it. I wonder, I mean, I suppose I would want to make sure that everyone has the document and knows what they're voting on. We have a few versions floating around, as you know.
I do think, Madam Chair, it would be best practice for us to have copies in front of us if it was just, unless we have, everybody can just take a moment and make sure they review it.
And the one that's emailed, so the ones in front of us is accurate with the exception of the verbal amendment. And so I thought that it was helpful to add what I understood was going to be a verbal amendment to the document.
Okay.
So I just want to be clear, the print in front of us excluded the print out from 1:30 excludes the oral amendment from Commissioner Edelson, but you informed me that you were going to move a friendly amendment, and so I just combined them while we were meeting, and I know that that's probably not best practice either.
That's okay. I've read it. I agree with that. If anybody else, I'm good. I'm good then.
I'm good.
I was aware of the friendly amendment, so I was trying to make it very friendly, but perhaps.
No, that was very good. Good, you were very impressive.
So is everybody aware of what's before us? And want to open it up to colleagues to speak to the R1 before us. And I can read it. I mean, I don't know if we want me to read it all, but let's go to some discussion.
Madam Chair, you just want to read that one sentence, Mr. Swigert?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, I think it might, if I could make a recommendation, and this would also be for the sake of public transparency and so that anybody watching would know what the board is voting on. The resolution that was in the published agenda, of course, the public would have. And so it might make sense for someone to read into the record the changes that are proposed in the R1. And then all those changes would be in the record, and there could be full understanding of what is the motion before the body and what you all would be voting on.
That makes sense. Everybody just recycle everything else. You have new, fresh copies is what I'm been provided. And I will read all of the shifts from the published agenda to what is here. So I'll just go from the top, everybody.
All right.
The first several whereas clauses are the same. One through 6, page 1, all of those are the same as what was published. Whereas clause 7 eliminates a period, which is a typo. 8 is consistent, whereas clause 9 is consistent. Whereas clause 10 has a shift from the original. 10 now reads, whereas federal officials have consistently indicated and news reports today reiterated that the reduction in federal agents is tied to discussions between federal officials and local law enforcement leaders regarding cooperation agreements, including a proposed basic ordering agreement, or otherwise known as a BOA, that would involve county jails providing access to individuals for federal immigration enforcement purposes. And there's a new whereas, number 11, whereas federal officials, including White House Border Czar Tom Homan of the Department of Homeland Security, have announced that the federal immigration enforcement operation, known as Operation Metro Surge in Minnesota, is ending, and that a significant reduction of ICE and other federal agents deployed in the state is underway, with further drawdown expected over the coming week. So these are new whereas clauses. The one that I just read is from this morning's announcement. Part of the interest is to document what has been communicated to us, so that should something different or should that occur, we are able to kind of come back to this. 12, 13, and 14's language are consistent, whereas 15 is consistent. 16, 17, 18 have edits, so I'll read these 3 out loud. Whereas under Minnesota statutes 373.01 subdivision 1A5, authority to approve any contracts, including section 287G agreements and a basic ordering agreement, rests with elected county boards, and elected sheriffs do not have unilateral authority to enter into contracts on behalf of the county, including section 287G agreements and BOA with the federal government. And whereas the Minnesota Attorney General has stated that, quote, sheriff's powers are defined by state law and do not include the ability to enter cooperative agreements with the federal government, end quote, stating instead that such agreements require approval of the county board. And whereas the Hennepin County Sheriff has not asked the county board to approve a section 287G agreement or BOA, and the county board has not approved a section 287G agreement or BOA. So those are the whereas clauses. Give me a second. Whereas clauses 19, 20, 21, and 22 are all consistent with the previously published language. On to the resolving clauses. The first resolving clause is the board reaffirming our oath of office regarding the constitutions. Second result, which is consistent language. The second resolving clause recognizes the U.S. Constitution, specifically the first 10 amendments, and lists those out. That language is consistent. The third resolving clause has consistency edits, but this clause reiterates the need for an independent or parallel investigation into the videotape killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy to be conducted by the Minnesota BCA. Fourth resolving clause, the board reaffirms support for staff and community witnessing these harms while also recognizing Operation Reconnect. Fifth resolving clause reads as the board, I'll just read this one. Hennepin County Board supports the Hennepin County Sheriff's existing policy with respect to federal immigration enforcement, urges the sheriff to not make substantive changes to the policy to voluntarily increase cooperation with federal immigration enforcement, and requests the sheriff to publish notification of the county board and residents if any substantive changes to the policy are made that result in increased cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. Sixth resolving clause is also consistent, talking about support for the sheriff's existing policy. 7, there are some edits. This one reads, the county board reaffirms its contracting authority as confirmed by the opinion of the Minnesota Attorney General's office, that only the county board has authority to enter into contracts on behalf of the county, including any proposed section 287G agreement or BOA with the federal government. 8, resolving clause urges ICE to refrain from civil immigration enforcement actions in or near courthouses, which is what was the impetus for the 2 Skyway level arrests in the last week, as well as 2 additional arrests in Hennepin County. 9 is be it further resolved that the county board reaffirms existing Hennepin County security policy that prohibits security officers from cooperating with ICE agents except as required by law. And then 10, this is a new resolving clause. And be it resolved that the county board affirms its commitment to public safety, legal due process, and the protection of civil rights in all discussions involving federal immigration enforcement operations and local law enforcement participation. So that's not the full reading of all of it, but thank you, Mr. Schweigert, for offering that suggestion. Now I will open it up the floor with the R1 before us, and would anybody like to speak? Commissioner Cotel.
Well, there's been a lot of misinformation, as you stated before, and so I really think stating the policy and who has the control over 287s and BOAs is very important, and the fact that we're supporting the sheriff and the current policies, and we're holding to that. I appreciate this.
Further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those? No.
I'm forming my thoughts, but just want to say something supportive and something that I've really noticed in conversation with the community is we can have, debates about a lot of things, but the Constitution is not as debatable. And so I appreciate that threaded throughout this. And then I know I'm getting a lot of questions about our partnership and relationship with other elected officials, and I appreciate that this spells out a little bit what we can and can't do, and also what they can and can't do, and what either of us may or may not have done already.
Thank you. No further discussion. I'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 13G is approved. 13H is regulation of face coverings in county facilities per Minnesota Statute 624.27, offered by Commissioner Conley.
I'll move that.
I'll second it. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So what this action does is well within our authority as a county board to regulate the use of our spaces and what can and cannot happen in those spaces. So this is a regulation of face coverings in county facilities. I want to just introduce it by reading a part of the background, and that's that allowing law enforcement or security officials to wear face coverings designed to hide their identity in county facilities interferes with the ability of the county to serve its residents. Such use of face coverings creates a culture of fear, diminishes trust in law enforcement, impairs public transparency, and impedes the effective functioning of county government. We've just heard references to 2 incidents within the government center recently. And what we have seen and what I hear from our residents a lot is a word that does not capture the breadth of what I hear all the time. And that's that there's masked agents roaming around our communities. We cannot identify them, and it erodes trust. And I've heard that from chiefs of police. I've heard that from our sheriff's office. And it's not a best practice for law enforcement within the state of Minnesota to cover faces or to hide their identity when carrying out their duties. So what this action does is prohibits that behavior in county spaces and along county property and county leased facilities. Thank you.
Discussion on 13H, Commissioner Gotal.
I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Commissioner Conley, for bringing this and giving me a heads up on this. Across the nation, there are folks who are reiterating what their best practices and even sometimes what's in law, that you can't have face coverings and that you must identify yourself. There aren't identifications on these officers either. So when things do go wrong, we don't have a way to go back and see, civil rights have been trampled. We have seen it on video after video, and we need to stay. I'm not sure that we'll get any cooperation out of this, but it also, at the federal level, they're trying to get these face masks removed. This shows them that we also back that stand, and I think this is a great statement.
Further discussion. I'll just offer gratitude to putting this forward. Agreed with Commissioner Gotel's observation that this is being stood up. It's not always followed, and it's certainly not always enforceable in other areas. And it's still important for us to assert, how we believe our spaces, the conduct that we're expecting. And it is completely troubling that we can't get identification. I mean, it's very, very troubling because in the last handful of years, Minnesota has really worked to try to reform and repair trust with respect to law enforcement and community. And what's happening is undermining that progress and undermining our law enforcement professionals. So I thank you for bringing this forward. And back to you.
I'm going to figure that out. So thank you for that. One of the questions that I had in trying to get this together was enforcement. So I wonder if we could speak to how county policy typically is enforced. Thank you.
Chair, Commissioner Conley, Dan Rogan is here, and I'd like to ask him to speak to that.
Madam Chair and Commissioner Conley, this policy change, as most of our security policy items would be enforced by security. As you might recall, we had a mask mandate during COVID, and security was tasked with making sure that people that were in our spaces were wearing masks. This is obviously kind of the opposite of that. And so security will be putting together a process to make sure that we can enforce this.
Anything further, Commissioner? Okay, thank you. With 13H before us, I believe we're prepared to vote. All those in favor of 13H, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That concludes our agenda, so motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Commissioner Green and Conley. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned, but don't go too far. We have a brief meeting of the Hennepin County Railroad Authority. Usually is.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Hennepin County Regional Railroad Authority. Today's Thursday, February 12th, 2026. The first item of business is to approve our agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Fernando and a second from Commissioner Conley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, our agenda is approved. Second item of business is to approve our minutes from our previous meeting. Item 2A is our minutes from the January 27th, 2026 meeting. I will move approval. Is there a second?
Second, Gotel.
Second from Commissioner Gotel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, our minutes from our previous meeting are approved. We have no items under the claims register. For new business, we've got 2 items. Item 4A is to approve a lease agreement with Excelsior Mill LLC for rental of Hennepin County Railroad Authority property in Excelsior. The period is March 10th, 2026 to March 9th, 2031, with receivables of $3,518. Is there a motion to move this? We have a motion from Commissioner Fernando and a second from Commissioner Conley. maybe the quick headline. Thank
Chair
you.
Green, Jessica Galatz is with us today to provide that brief update.
Welcome, Jessica Galatz.
Madam Chair, Board, good afternoon. I'm Jessica Galatz with Transportation Project Delivery. This request is for a new 5-year lease with Excelsior Mill LLC. The mill owns a building on the south side of the Rail Authority's Hopkins to Victoria corridor in downtown Excelsior. The building was constructed to receive supplies directly off railroad freight cars. Consequently, a portion of the rail corridor has always been used or leased by the building owner. The Rail Authority acquired this lease when we purchased the corridor in 1981. I'm able now to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Thank you so much. All those in favor say
Aye.
aye. All those opposed? That item is approved. The second item, item 4B, is to approve a lease agreement with Bear Path Golf and Country Club LP for rental of Hennepin County Regional Railroad Authority property in Eden Prairie. And the period here is March 1st, 2026 to February 28th, 2031, with receivables of $5,596. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
We have a motion from Commissioner Guttel. I'll second. I suspect we will be hearing from Ms. Galatz.
Chair Green, you're correct.
Thank you, Chair. Board, similarly, this is a 5-year lease request with Bear Path Golf and Country Club. Since Bear Path's golf course was constructed in 1995, they have leased a portion of the Rail Authority's Hopkins to Chaska corridor for golf cart path and fence. The tenant is responsible for maintenance of the leased area, and either party may terminate the agreement with 30 days' notice.
Thank you, Ms. Galatz. Any questions? We have a question from Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Not really a question, but more of a comment, and that's that there's a lot of talk about revenue, and these are long-term leases at small amounts of money, but I think I'm supportive of this today, but I think that we should be thinking about what these long-term leases look like, and maybe we can increase what we charge to rent the space on our property. Just a comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Conley. I will add similarly that I support this today, but I'm interested in talking with the golf course about their pesticide use practices. Thanks so much. Anything else? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, that item is approved. And we have nothing further on the agenda, so I will call us adjourned. Thank you.